You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done for professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Thursday, 10th day of May, 2018. So glad you've joined us. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're here for the very first time, then a special welcome to you. We are so glad to have you with us. I have a chart up of the S&P 500 Emini Futures. If by chance you cannot see said chart, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions, and you'll be registered all the way through the end of the month. If you do it at the first of the month, 30 seconds for 30 days. Even if you do it on the 10th of the month, you get days for your 30 seconds. Now, as a backup, we run a dual stream redundant over at youtube.com/cfrn/live. Now, something I was putting together, some time ago, and I never was able to finish the project. Soon, you'll be able to just watch the show from the home page down at the bottom on CFRN. It'll be that simple. CFRN.net, bing. Kind kind of like you're at YouTube, and when the stream starts up, the screen will come to life, and voila. I got it to work once, and then I couldn't figure out the connectivity day to day, but I got somebody who can do it for me now, so yippee. In fact, we'll probably broadcast it across the network of sites. So whether you're at CT Global Media, or Christian Traders, or Crypto World Radio, or Christian Cryptocurrency, or PortfolioBuilders.com, wherever you happen to be when the show starts, you'll be right in front of the screen, okay? And it'll just start playing. So if you don't want to watch it, you'll have to turn it off, I guess. All right, so now that you can see the screen, yesterday on the show, we talked about price had made this much of a commitment, and we didn't expect it to really happen yesterday, but we did say that the probability is that it would make its way up to the next zone. It has. Now from 2680 to 2712, that's a 32-point zone-to-zone move. But the zone on tap, our final zone, the highest weekly trading zone, it's not that one. That's from last week. And it's not that one. This is going to blow your mind. With such wide zones, it's interesting to see that we've made it up almost to the highest weekly trading zone. And we're looking at 2766. /66. Now, will it cover that distance between now and close of business tomorrow? I honestly couldn't tell you. It would be quite a feat if it did. And the highest zone, when we put out the zones, we're not predicting that it's going to go to the highest zone during the week or the lowest zone during the week. There are some things around those high and low areas, but basically what we're doing is we're creating a playing field. We believe that the market will trade in between this highest zone, this lowest zone for the week. And for the most part, that's what it's done since December 14th of 2009. So this is going to go out of view, but today is Thursday, and Thursday is when I share the zones with the entire community. So you might just jot that down, because if we don't get there today and the market closes bullish tomorrow, it's certainly possible that we could see it on Globex Sunday night. YouTuber and investor Jason Appleton announced yesterday that he is launching a Bitcoin-funded television series on CBS. That CBS, the CBS you grew up with. He's also launching it on the CW and also on Roku. He's going to address 47 million homes with the broadcast. CBS is a flagship property of CBS Corporation. It's one of the three major traditional commercial broadcast television networks in the U.S., along with ABC and NBC. I mean, growing up, that's all there was. There were CBS, ABC, NBC, and then we got the UHF, the little thing you clipped on to the rabbit ear, and it brought you in this snowy picture from somewhere. Right. Now, the CW is operated by the CW Network, a joint venture between CBS, the former owners of the United Paramount Network, UPN, and Warner Brothers. Roku provides streaming content to set-top devices and apps. If you have not experienced Roku, yeah, you probably should. Appleton is known on YouTube as Crypto Crow. At the time of this article, he has 73,005 followers on YouTube. He began publishing videos on the site in November of last year, while emphasizing he is not a licensed financial advisor. His videos include initial coin offering reviews and investment tips. Appleton has signed an agreement with CBS television networks to air 13 episodes of the Crypto Crow Show in select markets as a test in hopes of spreading nationally. The first season is scheduled to begin in the week of June 25th on the CBS New York WLNY network, which serves approximately 7.3 million homes. Each episode will feature educational information, topics such as what are cryptocurrencies, crypto security, exchange trading, ICOs, bot trading for profits, swing trading, crypto cycles and crashes, crypto mining versus investing, crypto predictions, and the future of cryptocurrency. The number of television shows featuring cryptocurrencies is growing. Last month, on the cable network Cheddar, which I'm not familiar with, launched a 30-minute show about cryptocurrencies called Crypto Craze. In February, Krypton Capital announced the launch of Crypto TV, which focuses on breaking crypto news, panel discussions, and live interviews. 8 pilot episodes of this show are being produced. Regular TV shows have also featured cryptocurrencies in selected episodes. The first one I saw was the CBS sitcom The Big Bang Theory. They aired an episode in November called The Bitcoin Entanglement. USA Network's Mr. Robot has also made many references to Bitcoin. On The Big Bang Theory, they lost their Bitcoin that Sheldon had downloaded onto a thumb drive that was part of a keychain that got lost. This week, HBO's Silicon Valley featured an ICO, while Showtime's Billions featured a Ledger Nano S hardware wallet. Billions is back for their 3rd season. I've only seen 1 episode. My wife and I watched it together. All of a sudden, 3rd season, she says, I'm not so interested in that. So, I hand her the remote and say, what do you want to watch? Let's look at the numbers around the world and see what they hold for us. Now, these are the cash markets. We will discuss the futures more in depth momentarily. Here in the U.S., currently the Dow is up 223 points, almost 1%. NASDAQ up 62 points. S&P 500 up 24 points. Both of those almost 1%. And the Russell 2000 up 10 points, which is over half of 1%. In the commodity basket, crude oil down 4 cents, trading 71.10 last. Gold up $6.40. Go gold. It's almost half of 1%, trading 13.19.40 last. In the Asian markets, a green day as well. Nikkei closed up 88 points. The Shanghai was up 16, and the Hang Seng added 273 points at the close, which is almost 1%. Will it hold? Will it hold? It held. World markets are green, even in Europe. FTSE up 38 points at the close, exactly half of 1%. The DAX up 79 points, which is a little over half of 1%. The CAC up 11, which is, well, it's 11. So green in the U.S., green in Asia, green in Europe. It's a big green radio Thursday. Michael will pop in now, I believe, and give us a recap of everything that happened in the live training room today.
Yes, he will.
See, there he is.
Indeed. Here I am.
That was my best Karnak routine.
About between 5 and 10, probably.
Okay. All right, there is a partners meeting tonight
Yes.
for all the partners. I had not mentioned that. And
9 p.m. Eastern.
9 p.m. Eastern. Outstanding. Okay.
Yes.
Well, let me hit mute, and you can get down to business.
All right. That sounds wonderful. All right. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, the 10th day of May, 2018. Today, excuse me. Today, oh, first, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page here. at cfrn.net. And right up at the top, it says sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room. 100% free trial. User indicators on our strategy. Click here. When you click there, I'll show you where you're brought. Hang on a sec. When you click there, you will be brought to this page. On this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Hit the submit button. Once you hit that submit button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay? If you don't click the confirmation link, then, if you don't click the confirmation link, then we don't know that you took the free trial. Okay, so make sure you click that confirmation link that comes to your email. Make sure you use a valid email for that matter. Okay. Now, today in the room, as I said, okay, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today in the room, it was the 10th day of May, as I said. We made 18 ticks in crude, 10 ticks in gold. That got us up to 280 on the morning session. Let's see. Today it took 15 minutes and one trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract, and we did a total of 7 trade opportunities this morning. So on the month now, we're at 1840. That's over 8 days, averaging 230 per day. On the year, we're at 15,491. That's over 87 days, averaging 178 per day. Okay, 178 per day. All right. That's it. Now, let's go take a look at what transpired. Okay, in gold, we had just one setup that we did right here, just one setup right here. And that was plus 10 ticks. You see how gold got all crammed up in here? And it stayed that way for a long, long time. See, finally it broke down over here, and this was getting toward the end of the room. But right here, we didn't do that because it would have been a momentum going into dynamic support. Right here was a quick 3-tick move. That was a momentum that we weren't fast enough to do. And it looks like, you know, I want to say, oh, hang on, let me draw a trend line. Okay, so that's the trend line. So there was a trade right here that should have put in a higher swing. It's still trying to do it as the green line attempts to get back up into the cycle here. It's still trying to do it. Okay. Okay, now on the euro. On the euro, we missed this first one right here, but we were able to get in there. Hey, John. We were able to get into this one, and we picked up the goal for the day in 16 ticks right there. And then we missed that follow-up trade. We gave back 8 ticks there, another 8 ticks there. We missed that, and we got a break even there. It looks like there was a lot of volatility on the euro today. We missed that, and we missed that as well. Okay, and during the break, it doesn't look like there was anything that you could do in there during the break. Okay, just doesn't look like it. Crude. Let's see. Well, crude had some good volatility this morning, but the trade setups weren't as plentiful as we would have liked to have seen them. Let's see. It made that big leg down, but then when it pulled back up, it dragged the cycle up with it. Okay. And over here, we were able to get 10 ticks out of this. And then the next one, 2 more ticks to put us at 12. And then 6 more over here to put us at 8. And toward the end of the room, we missed this short right here. And we missed the long right here. That was during the break, though. Or right at the break. Let's see, did we get anything else? No, we did not get anything else. Okay, on the ES. Now the ES was really kind of choppy in here. Then finally it made a move up toward the weekly trading zone. The only spot that I think we could have done anything on this was right there. Right there. Okay. During the break, there was a move right here you could have grabbed, and another one right here. This was all during the break, though. Okay, as it was moving away from the weekly trading zone. So, Praveen, I don't know if you're in here. No. There was a fella in the room this morning who had said he was long from 2708 when price was up here, and he asked me where he should put his stop, and I said, just a little below the prior swing low, right there. I said, it's probably going to pull back toward the zone right now, but if it bounces up off the zone, well, then you'll be good. So I guess he had a pretty good day on the ES. Anyway, that was it on the ES. We didn't have any trade setups that we did on the ES today. All right, back here. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. As I said, today is the 10th day of May 2018. We picked up 18 on crude and 10 on gold. That got us to 280 on the morning session. Took 15 minutes and one trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 contract. And we took a total of 7 opportunities this morning. So on the month now, we're at 1840. That's over 8 days, averaging $230 a day. On the year, we're at 15,491. That's over 87 days, averaging 178 per day. Okay. Now, look at this. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page here at cfrn.net. And right up here at the very top, it says sign up for the CFRN live training room. 100% free trial. User indicators, learn our strategy. Click here. When you click there, you'll be brought to this page. On this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. And you hit that submit button. Once you hit that submit button, you will be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link, okay? If you don't click on the confirmation link, well then, we don't know that you took the free trial, okay? Now, I don't know if Dwayne's back yet, so I'm just gonna run through a few things here for you. We just broke dynamic support here on the crude oil. So you would draw your trend line from this swing low like that. Over here, we had an up close above the trend line right there. So the entry point would have been right there at 19.4. It pulled back to 18.9, but it's run all the way up here now. See, the green line is up into the cycle. And when the green line gets up into the cycle like that, it's time for it to pull back and do it all over again. So right now, I would be trailing my stop right behind price. Okay. Now, when gold went up, so did the euro. This bar right here broke dynamic resistance. So you can take momentum trades. Okay. Because that's what was right there. Was a momentum trade. All right. All right. And that's it, guys. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. America's largest city park. Oh, white America.
Okie doke. Grab the screens. There we go. And one more click. One more clickety click. There we go. Okie doke. Recap of the recap. Hello?
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry. The recap of the recap. I was reading an email that just came in. The recap of the recap. Today it took 15 minutes and one trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 per contract.
15 minutes. One trade.
And one trade. Yep.
Well, that's outstanding.
Thank you.
Oh, you're outstanding in your field. Don't get wet. Ha. That's an old country joke. Get it? You're outstanding in your field. Don't get wet. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Our humor was a little slow back there, but it was good humor. Well, you're living in it, so you're living in it. Last night on the Concierge Trade Alert, we said if you got a chance, you might want to scoop up some S&P 500 E-mini futures at 2702. Now, if you endeavor to do such a bold thing, that puts you in about right here. Almost. Scoot it up. 2702. Okay. Now that everybody knows that the zone's at 1213, when I put on an alert like this at 2702, I do, understand that it might push through and continue higher. But when I'm doing my calculations, I'm really concerned with, do I have enough room from the alert to the zone? Because even though sometimes it will overshoot and sometimes it will slice through, although this thing really struggled during that 30-minute candle to get above it, and it finally, well, this one struggled. It looked like it was going to falter, and then this one got up through it. So as it came out of the box, I'm thinking, okay, we got a 10-point trade on our hands. We triggered 2702. We'll go to 12, 10 points. Well, it's delivered more than that, which is a good thing, by 2702. I'll give you guys a screenshot in a minute of the alert. So what do we get up to so far? 22. So that's 20 points so far at $50 per point. $1,000 per contract. Is that right? Is that right?
Sounds about right.
Oh, that's good. 20 points. And $1,000 per contract available. Okie doke. After shining me on for a day, no call, no text. I get a text last night, and with text you normally cannot tell the emotion. That's why they came out with emojis and emoticons. But this guy, I get this. My phone goes off, and I look at it, and it goes, "If you still want this computer, I'll bring it." It's like, well, okay, if you're sure. And he did, and that thing weighs like, I think it weighs more than 50 pounds. I had to have Gabe help me carry it up the stairs. How big is it? I carried it in the house, so I just want you to know that I can lift 50 pounds, but I had to get up the stairs, do some navigating around some corners. How big is it? I don't know that this picture really shows how big it is, but it comes up, it's above my knees. You carry it by that handle. All these little things here, these are drives. It's got 10 terabyte hard drive, and then it's got a small solid state drive that cranks it up, and it's got 2 race car video cards. It's on, if you go on the internet, if you add up the individual parts, the important stuff, it's about $2 grand minimum, and $600. So if this one lasts, in fact, the one I got before, which I've had now for 4 or 5 years, and I'm going to retire, or perhaps make it the radio. I think I'll make it the radio server. For $600, $2,000 machine. It's got Windows 10. It's also got an 8.1 disc. So this, I haven't cranked it up yet, but this will be my first adventure with Windows 10. What do I need to know? What's different and unusual about 10 in regards to trading platforms, Daniel's Trading, go to webinar, any of that stuff? Is anything I need to know?
About that new computer?
No, about Windows 10. I mean, I've used Windows 10 on my wife's laptop, but I've not had Windows 10, and I've not ran a trading platform on Windows 10.
What version of Windows are you using?
7 Professional, I think.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. You're just gonna have to stumble around. I know how to do all the basic stuff that I need to do.
Right. Okay. But everything works. I mean, you didn't have to do anything special to make the charts work, or.
No.
It just okay. All right. And I read some the other day that said Windows 10 is about to get even better, whatever that means. Apple's coming out with a credit card. They're pairing up with Goldman Sachs to come out with the Apple credit card. That's big news, I suppose. All right, let's see. Mark says you definitely need 10 Pro. It's the only one which lets you schedule updates. I'm gonna assume that on this thing, it probably is the Pro version. Windows 10 works just fine for me. It's better. Okay, Daniel, thanks very much. Mark says the other version throws the updates at random. Yeah, I don't like to get surprised by those updates, because on this Windows 7 that I had to stop the updates because it would come in, do the update, and then nothing worked. I mean, literally nothing. I spent a whole day with one of the partners one day undoing everything that the update had done, because for some reason my restore, I didn't have any restore points, even though I had made some. So anyway, true story. Okay, John's not here yet, is he?
Hang on.
I don't think he's quite here. You see, you're supposed to jingle my phone.
No, he is not here.
He's not here. Okay. So, did you see the captives come home last night?
I did not.
President Trump gave a hero's welcome to 3 Americans freed by North Korea when they arrived at Andrews Air Force Base near Washington, D.C. early Thursday. North Korea released the men, Kim Dong-chul, Tony Kim, and Kim Hak-song. It sounds like they belong there. During a visit by Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Now, here they said Trump had us on the verge of nuclear war, and now he's diffused the entire situation, it seems. What do you think?
It does seem like he's made some good progress here. I mean, you know, I don't know. It seems like you get it seems like he's got North Korea's number to say.
Yeah.
It seems like
I mean, this
got a pretty good feel for it.
It could be a trick, I suppose, but this Kim Jong seems like all of a sudden a different person.
Yes. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, he does. I mean, he seems to be more willing to communicate and, you know, try to move forward instead of backward.
Saudi Arabia said if Iran builds nukes, we will too. Okay. Israel launched massive strikes against Iranian weapons depots, intelligence centers, and logistic facilities in Syria overnight in retaliation for what it described as an unsuccessful Iranian rocket attack against its forces in the Golan Heights. If it rains in Israel, it will pour in Iran. That thing's been going on since the beginning of time. I don't think it'll ever change. According to the book, it'll never change. The good book.
Yes, the good book.
Bridgewater. Oh, that's not. I really liked this, the Business Insider site, but now they've come up with this Prime thing, and every time there's a really good article, it's behind the paywall. Now, I even went out to Google, search the article, because usually you can get around a paywall. If you search it on Google, Google takes you around the paywall, because Google doesn't like paywalls. And if they find out, once they find out that, figure out that Business Insider is doing this, it's going to create some friction. Although, I'm sure Business Insider's not too worried about it. Have you heard about this Robinhood app?
No, I have not.
Robinhood app. Let's see, do I have a... I don't think I have a picture of it. No. It is a zero-fee stock trading app popular among millennials. Now, I'm trying to figure out how this thing... Everybody knows you got to make money. In March, the Wall Street Journal reported that Robinhood, a commission-free stock trading app, could be valued in excess of $5 billion. Now, the world's certainly not short on stock trading apps. Everywhere you turn, there's a new one. but none of them are commission free. But without charging the customer, they get a $5 billion valuation. The newspaper's unnamed sources said the company was raising an estimated $350 million funding round led by a longtime investor, the Russian investment firm DST Global. Now Robinhood is confirming both the size of the Series D funding round at $363 million and the company's current valuation at $5.6 billion. Well, that's a stretch, making the 5-year-old startup a formidable contender in the fintech stock trading market. It's remarkable growth for the young company, which in its first attempt to secure funding, everybody needs to listen to this, was rejected 75 times. Think about it. They went in, they pitched their hearts out, they had their little pitch deck, they had their slideshow, and Tums in their pocket, and 75 times they said, no, we do not like your idea, we will not give you our money. Now, this round brought in new investors like Kleiner Perkins, Sequoia. Those are big names. Iconic, Capital G. Tanev told Business Insider that Robinhood would use the money to launch new products, scale the product's growth, and snag new talent. Most recently, Robinhood brought on Greystock investor Josh Ellman as its vice president of product. We're expanding our product suite so that we can offer many financial services at the lowest possible price. Okay. So now it begins to make sense. There is revenue on the horizon. Robinhood's primary offering, this is to get you in the door, is a zero-fee trading app that is taken off among millennials. The company is rolling out a cryptocurrency trading platform where users in 10 U.S. states can trade in fiat currencies for digital coins like Bitcoin and Ether. Tanev declined to share the number of users trading in cryptocurrencies through the Robinhood app, but said there was a huge demand for the service. We're working as fast as we can, Tanev said. Like its stock trading options, Robinhood's cryptocurrency trading platform is also commission free. Does that mean no gas? You think that's what it means?
Yeah, well, that is the equivalent of a commission, right? Is when you use that gas.
I mean, yes, we call it a transaction fee.
Right.
What was that note? Michael Reed, no speaking with this, try Friday. Oh, was that Mike Reed?
Yeah, that was Mike Reed. He sent us an email.
He didn't get his email. Yeah.
Yeah, I sent him the link, and he got in, but he apparently can't talk.
Yeah. Well, it's fine. It's because we didn't open his mic. I didn't see him. Now, Robinhood says they want to build the best product on the market for trading cryptocurrencies. They want to make it easy and simple because many of the platforms can be complicated. And in our first class last night for the crypto portfolio builders, that's where we started. Because everybody was brand new, and we started with the on-ramp exchanges, the off-ramp exchanges. We went over the different ones. We took a look at Scott's account, the portfolio. He logged into them on the different, he walked everyone through, okay, first you start at Coinbase. And we chose to go with that one because we both use it, both familiar with it, you're familiar with it. And then he walked them through the different exchanges for purchasing the different cryptos that are in the portfolio. But they all have some degree of difficulty, and Robinhood is, attempting to smooth that out. Is it worth $5 billion as a valuation? Very well could be. Oh, and here was a interesting tidbit I stumbled across. Let's see if I can stumble back across it again. Oh, Alexa and Siri can hear this hidden command that you can't. And in the article, they never, I don't think, disclosed the command. Over the past 2 years, researchers in China and the US have begun demonstrating that they can send hidden commands that are undetectable to the human ear to Apple's Siri, Amazon's Alexa, and Google's Assistant. Inside university labs, the researchers have been able to secretly activate the artificial intelligence systems on smartphones and smart speakers. making them dial phone numbers, open websites. In the wrong hands, the technology could be used to unlock doors, wire money, or buy stuff online, simply with music playing over the radio. That's a little bit frightening, don't you think?
Yes.
Now,
Yes, I do think.
the other one that I found interesting, this was the first time this has happened. Digital advertising revenue grew 21% last year, and it surpassed TV ad spending. First time advertisers have spent more money advertising on the internet than on TV. That's wild. Despite all the worries about ad fraud, ad blocking, and other ailments of the internet, the growth of online advertising seems to show no sign of slowing down. According to a new report by PwC, digital advertising revenues continued to climb in 2017, rising 21% to $88 billion in the U.S. While 2017 was yet again another record year for digital ad revenue, it was also the first time online ad spend surpassed the combined total of TV, broadcast, and cable advertising, according to PwC. Much of that growth was driven by mobile, which accounted for $49.9 billion in digital revenue. Now, something that barely existed 10 years ago. Well, I don't know, when did the iPhone come out? Was it 2000, about 2006, 2007?
I had no idea. I still had a flip phone. John is in the office, by the way.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been nice chatting with you, Mike. I can. Did you already open it up?
No, I didn't. Here.
I got it.
I got it. It's open.
Hey, John.
It's open.
Hey, John. Welcome to the show. John's not here, man. Oh, he's probably trying to jingle my phone. That's what I told him to do. So we'll keep waiting. So think about that. Now they're talking about broadcast network TV. They're talking about cable TV. They're talking about all TV ad spend eclipsed by advertisers spending on the internet. So, yeah. I mean, you know, if a person owned a cryptocurrency that represented a company that was, I don't know, like a global media kind of a titan sort of thing, you know, I think there's one, CT Global Media, right? They have a lot of web properties, some advertising, and they're getting ready to aggressively pursue advertisers, something they've not done in the past. They wanted to get the properties built out first. I would say that's kind of, let's see, for the first time ever that internet advertising outweighed television advertising. And we're in some kind of a cryptocurrency craze here. And so you take those two and you roll them up, put that in your pipe, smoke it. I think that's pretty hot. You think we could get a $5 billion valuation?
Hang on.
We have revenue.
Yeah, I wish we would. I mean, we have more revenue than lots of those places.
We got more revenue than we got more revenue than Robinhood. Is that you, John?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks. A few connection problems just a while ago, but today's a great day for a lot of reasons, including getting those three guys back from Korea, which I think has a lot to do with the way the market's going today. And as we said yesterday, yesterday I kind of reiterated all my upside targets. No holds barred, 27,750 on the Dow, closing in on 25,000 now. So we're several hundred points higher than we were yesterday when I made that call. And as you know, we've been saying, the second week of May would be potentially pretty strong. as the corrective phase kind of fades into the distance, which it appears to be doing. And I guess the most bullish thing of all, really, is the fact that we never went down. We didn't complete. We have a kind of an incomplete correction where the down leg, the C wave never really materialized. And as a result, I would say that makes the market much more bullish and much more potentially strong on the upside over the next few months. And this is sort of the way it happened in '87. After the correction, which, I mean, look, it was only a few days ago, or in the last week or so, you've seen a lot of headlines saying, the market's going to crash and people are bailing and all that kind of thing. And the market's been going up pretty easily since then. And right now the shorts, probably a lot of people went short, and they're getting squeezed. This is typical short covering activity, where you start out. We sold the market high last night. It came down this morning. We caught the lows more or less right just before the open, and it's been going up ever since. And this is likely to be a very strong and defining week. Look, not all stocks are participating by any means yet. The drug stocks actually are still pretty what's the word? Kind of suppressed almost. A lot of and so, however, if that changes, which it could here in the next few days, I think the market could accelerate higher, but possibly next week. And here we are. We're going into the middle of May now. Pretty strong mode. And remember what I said as we were going out the end of April, that if we morph into a strong May, it's really going to take hold, and that's exactly what's happening. And back in '87, we had just to remind everybody, we had a 12% correction. Sorry, no, we had an 11% correction, the first down leg, followed by a 12% rally to a new high, kind of a lot like what happened here this year. And then we went down 13%. And that kind of happened as well, except it wasn't 11 or 12, it was about a 7% down and then up and then down again. So we've had a minor version of what happened in '87, and the fact that it is a minor version of it, and now we're sort of coming out from underneath it with in a very stealthy kind of a way, that's sort of, in a matter of days, the market's number of issues, including Apple, gone to a new high, almost without even noticing, kind of thing. And so we had this very stealthy move. I mean, not Microsoft just about hit a new high today, and that's very bullish because it's coming up on 100. So it sort of puts 120 target on Microsoft. We've got 135, and Amazon is just about there again at an all-time high. It's getting pretty close. You got to be careful here because up around 1600, several times Amazon's been to 16 and has pulled back. And to be fair, the market's probably overdue for a bit of a pullback here at some point in the next few days. So you have to be a little bit careful. But everything's going very, very well today. Here we are at about 143 on the bonds. JP Morgan going back up again. I mean, if you look at a stock like JP Morgan, it's kind of a pretty good proxy for certainly for the financial sector, and for a lot of the market. It looks like the market came down and made a kind of a double, triple bottom, and now it's going up again. It looks like a huge consolidation that could certainly go substantially higher. And I mean, if interest rates rise here over the next few months, you could see JP Morgan going probably to 130, 140, maybe even 150. I mean, look, we're at 1,600. How is it really going to be that hard for Amazon to get to 2,000, even 2,200? I don't think so. And this is exactly what happened in '87. We had a 30% rally off those lows in May, and it's, you know, given the momentum of this market, the fact that the economy is revving up. Look at these employment numbers, you know, the all-time record low weekly employment claims. Never seen anything like it. This is certainly as good as it gets, and probably has enough to, you know, look, with the, if we remember in '87, look, the dollar's rallied. It's probably topping out right about here, and if the dollar starts going down now, you know, if it goes another 10% off this rally high, that's 10% up in stocks right there, you know, over and above whatever else stocks get. This is exactly what happened in '87. The dollar went into a kind of a spiral down, you know, because look, if we break down below 90 on the dollar and then '87, I mean, the next thing you know, we could be down to 80, you know, before too long. And that's going to mean we're going to get an all asset rally in gold, stocks, the gold stocks and the currencies, and everything else into the summer and maybe even the fall. And it could really get a lot of momentum with a lot of new stocks hitting new highs, not with the same breadth as before. I think the leadership are going to be the ones hitting the new highs, but it's definitely probably going to be a thinner market. And at some point, you know, maybe in July, August, September, the market might top out. But the economy looks set now to be very, very strong going right into the election. And as we've been saying, the numbers support the Republicans. The numbers in the last few days of elections have been very positive for them. I mean, there's been, you know, hundreds of thousands more Republican voters turning out than Democrats, and the Democrats are saying they've got all the momentum and they've got the enthusiasm. It doesn't look like that from the last few days. So the big surprise, you know, if Trump pulls off a deal in North Korea, if, you know, he might solve this Iran issue maybe in a few months' time, stranger things have happened. You know, look, he's got possibly the best Secretary of State that ever lived in the job right now. This guy's probably one of the smoothest operators ever. He's done a fantastic job at the CIA. Look at what he's accomplished. He's developed obviously a very, very tight relationship with Kim Jong-un in a matter of weeks. This is absolutely, you know, this is critical. This is pivotal, because if you don't have that communication and ability to you know, make peace and get on with people and make things happen, you know, you're not going to get anywhere. So he's certainly got the skills to, you know, possibly go in and play Mr. Nice Guy with the Iranians and get things going there. Because at the end of the day, I think the Iranian economy is in a shambles. I was looking at all the currencies last night around the world, and it's just staggering. There's about a dozen economies, such as Turkey, Iran, most of the Latin countries led by Argentina, Venezuela, you know, and then a whole bunch of other countries. The dollar has gone down over the last their currencies have gone down over the last 10 years. It's almost like the value's gone from $10 to 2. You know, it's gone down that much. 1 or 2's gone down about 90%. And it's just unbelievable. Now, the dollar, on the other hand, while it's enjoyed incredible strength over the last few years, it can't last forever, and it is actually, you know, we've seen a 10% drop, we've seen a 3 or 4% rally. We may see another 10% drop quite soon, because a lower dollar gets, you know, makes the rest of the world more grow. It's a better world, you know. There's growth, and we don't want the dollar to be too strong. We'll have a strangle type economy like we had in the under Obama. So I'm sure there's a will to get the dollar down and make some of these other countries recover their recovery more durable, and it obviously gives them more buying power. Imagine if these countries hadn't gone through that kind of strife, how much more buying power they'd have to buy U.S. goods. So the U.S. is sort of it doesn't want to price its way out of the world market either. That's why a lower dollar is bullish. Is bullish for the world economy, but it's also very bullish for stocks. So if we get into the same groove as '87, which is highly quite probable by June or July, if this scenario unfolds. And remember, interest rates. If you don't believe me that interest rates, look, I don't know whether you picked up on this, but why do you think the dollar rallied as much as it did in this surprising short squeeze that we just had? It rallied because the Fed didn't raise rates. So and what happened when the Fed didn't raise rates in 13, 14, and 15, when they were pumping a lot of money into the system? The dollar was rallying, right? It was going to new all-time highs. So when Argentina's currency's crashing and they're raising rates to 40% to defend the dollar, that's why when the Fed starts raising rates, and they're virtually certain to next time, right, and probably for the rest of the year, they may get into a panic because these inflation numbers, while they're why is gold gone up this morning on a sort of benign inflation number? Because it went, that's the most bullish thing you can get. When gold starts going up on sort of sigh of relief that the inflation isn't worse, the market is saying we think it's worse, and it's only a matter of time before it gets worse. And by the time it gets worse, the Fed will be too late, and it'll be behind the curve. And this is I think some of the smarter money in the world, including those two billionaires like Gundlach. And I mean, Gundlach is like one of the most savvy bond traders of all time. And bond traders understand inflation and gold and all these things. And for this guy to come out and say that he thinks gold is going to go up $1,000, I wouldn't bet against him. I'll tell you that. This guy has been pretty right all along, and he's definitely one of the smartest guys on Wall Street ever. So for him to suddenly come out with a statement like that, you better sit up and take notice, because it certainly fits with our view. And our view is that we are retracing. I mean, look, this is a very simple theory. Unless you lived in through the 70s, you don't understand what being in a recession is all about. And we had a crash in the 70s that was, I mean, listen, Britain shut down. They had a 3-day week. Things were so bad. 3-day week.
Really?
Yeah, they turned the light. I mean, they would turn the lights off at night to save energy. I'm not kidding you. I mean, they literally used to turn off the lights in buildings, and all the, the whole country went dark. It was in dire straits. And what a lot of people don't understand is that Britain went through in 1929, in 1973 to 75. The market fell from 547 to 147. That's pretty much a 1929 type crash. And it was very, very bad. Now, since then, Britain has taken off and never looked back. But, they did have the benefit of the North Sea discoveries that came just around the right time. So they became self-sufficient in energy, which helped a lot. But it was pretty grim. And the Feds back then that weren't transparent like they were today, they didn't tell people what they were doing. They were out there doing everything that just like they've done in the last 8 years. They were doing everything in a couple of years back then to get the economy turned around and get the world back on track. And so by 1976, because things were looking so dire, gold was down at 106 after being at 200, which was an all-time high at the time. It had a 50% correction, and then was followed by an 8-fold gain over 4 years. So the gold boom followed all the stimulus that the Fed created in the mid-70s, and it was manifested by the end of the decade in an incredibly powerful way in a very, very short space of time. So we were 106. We took a couple of years to get to 200, then another year to get to 300, and then the final year went to 400, and then in the final 6 months it went to 800. So that's how fast it all happened. I think we're going down the same path today, but it's 10 times higher. The bottom in 2016 was exactly 10 times higher than the bottom in 76. We're 2 years into it. We're just sort of lifting off towards a breakout on the upside in gold. I think when that breakout comes, it's going to be very bullish indeed, and you're going to see an acceleration to the upside into the high teens in gold, and possibly even to 2400, which is about 240, where we were in 1978, 2 years before we went to 800. So that's sort of the same timeline, although it might be a little bit longer in this case, because it was a longer correction. We had, instead of a 2-year correction, we had a 4 to 5 year correction. So the upside on this in this era could be 4 to 7 years from now, or 4 to 6 years from now, say. So it could be by, I'd say by 2022, 23, we're going to be looking at something pretty similar to 1980. And now is the time to get set, because or later on this year, but might have to do it now, because if the gold takes off, you missed your chance. It's already going to run away from you, and it definitely won't come back. If we break out above this 1370 line, say we get up to 1400, even if we come back, that's going to be super strong support, 1370. And thereafter, once it takes out, starts getting into the 16s, there's really nothing to stop the gold going all the way back to the highs, 1900. And it's probably, this time it's going to be gunning. If we get over 2000, then you're going through another major milestone, and it's unlikely to go down through it again, by much, at least. So, and look, a lot of the ducks are lining up. You've got, the oil now, 70. You've got with the Iranian situation, that's probably going to mean $80, $88 oil before too long. That's very bullish for gold. And then you've got the whole Iranian problem, which is a replay of the 1970s anyway. So just like the second Gulf War that nobody saw coming, this one is quite likely to be Iran in some way, shape or form, or the Middle East in general, is probably going to be a factor in gold going into the multi-thousands of dollars at some point in the future.
Now, we've been hearing about, well, nobody believed gold when it ran at 2,000 the last time. What sets it in motion? What brings this to bear?
You know what? Look, just like the what sets it in motion is prices are gradually moving higher. The CRB index is breaking out to a multi-year high. It's right there right now. All it needs really is for gold and silver to break out, and that's going to take that index to new highs, because right now it's at a 3-year high without gold and silver effectively in it, right? So if gold and silver suddenly starts running higher, it automatically sort of takes that in. It becomes the driver of that index. And then if the grains, like we've been saying, if the grains have a summer rally, it's just icing on the cake. And look at cotton. I mean, cotton's at the highest level now in quite a few years. Orange juice way back up. Cocoa, highest level in decades. Lumber, all-time record highs. I mean, this is why that index is going up.
So, inflation, compared to history, where are we at with inflation right now?
Well, look,
has the price of milk gone up that much?
No, not particularly.
I don't buy the gallon. My wife does, but I mean, so I don't know.
Not particularly. What's different is there's a lot of people are drinking alternatives like almond milk and coconut milk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
and there's a general, people don't want to be drinking animal fats anymore. They're worried about heart problems and stuff like that. And
Sure.
I don't drink milk myself, so I haven't for years.
Well, they've kind of proven that cow's milk was created for calves, not people.
Yeah. So that's a big thing. So you can't really use that as a kind of reliable indicator. But the fact of the matter is, if you take 2000 as a benchmark, almost everything that almost everything's gone up anywhere from 50 to 400% since 2000. And the problem is that wages have not kept the pace, which is the whole problem with the U.S. economy. I mean, people are struggling to make ends meet because of how much prices have increased on everything. So and hopefully with the tax cuts and the boost in the economy, I mean, look, the 90s made a lot of millionaires in the end because they created more jobs than any period in history. We're in the longest job creation streak in history right now. We're in the second longest bull market of all time. This is probably going to end up being the longest expansion period in history, and the longer it goes on, the better conditions get for everybody. So and look, that's been borne out by what I've been going on about the last few days, which is at 42%. Even though it's a shockingly low number, it is about the highest level of where Americans think we're going in the right direction probably in 2 decades, which speaks volumes for everything that Trump has done so far. Especially, by the way, you know what the low was in Obama's rate? It was 13. At one point,
he got down to 13.
At one point, they're only 13% of the country, and this is only a couple of years after the guy was elected. So, I think it was in 2013. 13% of the people thought the U.S. was going in the right direction. That's a staggering statistic. And so, at 42 being 3 times that, that's a gigantic shift of sentiment. And if we get up to 50%, if we get anywhere over 50% on that, it's going to have some potentially incredibly positive ramifications down the road for the country.
Michael in the audience said that Trump's going to give a speech on the cost of drugs tomorrow. And Daniel asks, why does the Iran deal affect oil so much? It seems that there's plenty of oil everywhere else.
Well, a good question, because they have cut 2 million barrels a day out of the market, out of production to get, to tighten up the market. And prior to the Iranians coming back on stream, the problem is that Iran coming back into the picture, I think could have added 1 million, maybe even 2 million to the supply. And because when this deal was done, remember, that's when oil crashed from $100 down to 27. That last bit of it was when the Iran deal was coming up to being signed, and that was a nail in the coffin on the oil price certainly for a couple of years. So if that 1 million barrels, stopping Iran from exporting oil is going to have a very powerful impact. Because remember, Venezuela is in absolutely dire straits. Their production is down probably almost 1 million barrels. Nigeria's in a pretty bad way. And then on top of that, what a lot of people don't realize is we lose 5 million barrels of oil a year that has to be replaced by new discoveries. So that's about 7 million barrels, possibly even 8 if you take Iran's off the market. So all of a sudden you could have a very sharp drop in inventories, and the market could get very, very tight in a kind of a very sudden and dramatic way. And you look, a year ago, I think we said as much on this show, and I was certainly saying it before I came back on the show. I was forecasting, look, if we get to $88 a barrel, that's a pivotal point. If we go up to 88 and then sort of come back down, it probably means we may have seen the highs in oil for a long time, if not ever. But if we go above 88 and start heading back into the 90s, it's a pretty good chance we're going to go back to 120. If we get into some sort of a squeeze in the 20s in 2020 or beyond, then there's a very good chance we'll retest the highs at 150, and we might even go to 180. Now, it sounds crazy to be talking about $180 oil today, but here's how it could happen. Even in spite of all the electric cars, they're really not having much of an impact on the oil supply yet, and they're probably unlikely to until we get into the 20s. So right now, oil demand around the world, we're running around 94 million barrels a day, and we're barely able to supply that. But it is projected that by 2020, we're going to hit 100 to 102 million barrels a day demand. There's just no way in the world, with Iran and with maximum production and everything else, there's no way in the world we can meet that demand at this point in time. I believe that cannot be done. And you can call up Boone Pickens and ask him if you like, and I'm sure he'll tell you the same thing. So this is the crunch that's coming that nobody's talking about just yet. But it's certainly the way the world is going. It's kind of a bit like the last decade. Remember. We remember where we started the last decade from. We started at under $10 a barrel, and we got up to 40, and at $40 a barrel, just like today, if you look on your screen, you'll see what's going on today. The missing ingredient is natural gas, but because that's not making new multi-year highs. But the three, oil itself, gasoline, and heating oil are all hitting all-time highs. Gasoline use is at the highest levels in history right now in the U.S., never been higher. And if natural gas joins the party, and we have all four of these elements hitting new highs together, it'll be just like we were at $40 right before we went to $80 around Katrina time, and natural gas got up to $15. Now, probably the most bullish story is natural gas, because the last 3 winters have been so cold, the summers have not stored up enough gas to get through the next winter. So this time around, the inventories could really get depleted in another cold winter, and we could really see a huge surge in gas, in the next 6 to 9 months. And that could coincide with, I don't think Iran is going to come offline overnight.
You need to get that?
No, it's okay. I don't think Iran's going to come offline overnight, but if you think about it, the next few months, if things tighten up towards the winter, and remember, the Saudis say they want to get $88 oil for their IPO, they're probably going to, find some way to get it there. So all of those things, including a natural gas pop, could be the ticket. So those are the numbers. 88 is going to be the pivotal number. And look, they might get it up to 88. They do that IPO, and then it goes down again. But if it starts going up beyond 88, then it's a whole new ball game, and we really could get into a very big squeeze in the 20s.
Yeah, I was going through some historic charts last night when I was looking at crude at $30 a barrel. That was just, well, we should have been burying some barrels in the backyard, I guess.
Yeah, and look, and a lot of the oil, is harder to get these days. It's become very expensive. It's not. I mean, obviously, higher prices are going to make that a lot easier. But anyway, so right now we're up 70 on the Nasdaq. We're up 70 on the Nasdaq, up 250 on the Dow. This is a really strong day, and it looks like there's no stopping it at the moment. So
yeah, the Nasdaq ran up 800 on our alert last night. The Russell ran up 400. The Dow ran up 135 points, 650 bucks. And the S&P ran up a grand, 20 points.
Yep. No, very good day, and
beautiful day.
It's another example of the best systems are the ones. The most disciplined is a system that you can believe in and you can adhere to and you can execute on relatively easily. I mean, it's delivered to you before the fact every night, and it's just a matter of putting the orders on and going to sleep.
Well, that's what we strive for. So.
Yeah, but the Apple must be closing in on 950 billion right now. Where it is, it's definitely looking like Apple's going to hit $1 trillion market cap here within the next few weeks, possibly.
They're coming out with their own credit card. They're pairing up with Goldman Sachs to do that.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah. And another request for, it says, sure wish I could follow John's tweets.
Yeah, no, look, I actually, the reason I've delayed on this is I want to do a better explanation of how our whole doctrine, how we stalk the market, because it's all a matter of stalking the market and waiting for these kinds of moves and getting positioned for them. And actually right now, oh wow, look at that. I mean, you mentioned, do you remember a few days ago our comments on palladium? Mm-hmm. Where I said we were going to have a massive up move, up $25 today.
Wow. Very good.
Yeah, and up 10 on the platinum. It really is starting to look like platinum might have bottomed. It didn't go below. It couldn't break it below 900 this time. And I remember thinking that and saying, you know what, this maybe this is it. And here we are on the gold. And look, we're going up in a very methodical kind of sort of slow motion way, a little bit like we were going up in the market a few days ago. Remember, we were just kind of going up gradually, and now we're accelerating. I think the same thing is starting to happen with the metals here.
Yeah, I tell you about the guy that stiffed me on the computer. Mm-hmm. I got a text last night out of nowhere. You still want that computer? I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? And so he brought it. And he was the nicest guy in the world. And the thing weighs over 50 pounds. I had to have my son help me bring it up the stairs. Not that I brought it in the house so I can carry 50 pounds, but navigating the stairs was a little difficult. And I tried to take a picture of it.
It must be fully loaded. Wow, Jesus Christ!
You can't really, it comes up above my knee, up to my knee.
That's a monster.
It is a monster.
Is that a kind of a window there where you can see the inside? Is that it?
And I wanted to I couldn't. The guy opened the door a bunch of times last night and showed me inside, and then this morning I couldn't figure out how to open it. So I'll take some better pictures before I get it under the.
I told you might show up. I was right about that.
Yeah, and I was talking to my wife yesterday afternoon, and she said the same thing. I go, well, that's what John said, and then here it is. So, yep, I'm excited to get it hooked up and running and just see what I've never had 32 gigs of RAM before, so that should be.
Wow, have you got it going now? Are you
running
it already?
No, not yet. It's going to take me a little while to get it
You'll
set
notice
up.
You'll notice the difference right away.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I will. And I got to be very, very careful with that. I don't want. There's so much garbage on the internet these days. Just got to be so careful. That's why all of our students, we teach and train them to get a computer dedicated just to trading. No email, no Facebook, no Twitter. The kids can't play video games. Nobody touches it. You get another computer for the family. And if you need a computer, you can have one, but you should have a dedicated machine, you know. Chefs are very picky about their knives. You don't touch a chef's knife. Carpenters.
And he's got the. I mean, he's obviously a wizard. This guy, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Well, thanks, Sean.
Good for you. Yeah. Listen, thanks for the invite. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. All right. We started talking yesterday about blaming others, and that we need to stop blaming others or the world or situations or circumstances and just accept responsibility. We talked about the garden, Adam and Eve. Adam said, hey, she gave it to me. And in Genesis 3:13, the woman responds by saying, the serpent deceived me. Okay. Adam told God, Eve made me do it. And Eve told God, the devil made me do it, which was stolen later by Flip Wilson. Excuse making and blame placing are built into our DNA. And until you get beyond them, you'll never make progress or find real happiness. Here's a statement worth stopping to think about. We are the people we've been waiting for. No one else is coming. If you're willing to accept responsibility for your life, you'll discover that no matter what other people do or don't do to or for you, you're accountable to yourself. You decide how to respond. You decide to continue to move toward your dreams or not. The truth is, Prince Charming is not waiting for you around the next corner. Your ship isn't coming in. The tide isn't about to turn. The odds are against you winning the lottery in this lifetime. So what are you going to do? When you've been hurt by someone else's actions, you can do one of two things. One, you can sit like a leper and die at the gate of blame and complaint. That's 2 Kings 7:3. Or you can emerge with a strategy that enables you to say, I'm too valuable to die, too tenacious to wait on anyone's mercy, and too creative to accept your neglect as my destiny. Only when you're willing to stop blaming yourself and others and take responsibility for your life and your situation will God empower you to change things. This approach puts the thermostat within your reach and control. Instead of freezing to death or sweating in discomfort, you can set the temperature for your life and change the terms for your future. And that's our good word for the day. We have a partners meeting tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, as we do each and every Thursday night. And each and every Wednesday night, we have a class for the Crypto Portfolio Builders. And if you haven't been there, go to cryptoportfoliobuilders.com. The first webinar we held back on Sunday night is there. There's information if you'd like to become a member, if you want to start learning from the ground up, all the ins and the outs and the how-tos and the why-fors. My partner Scott, who's a former Wall Street trader, he is so well-versed. I'm excited to have him as a partner in this venture. He's just got a wealth of information. He did an incredible job last night. And I invite you to join us next Wednesday. So check it out. Go to cryptoportfoliobuilders.com. Again, cryptoportfoliobuilders.com. Partners, if you have questions, feel free to email them ahead, screenshots, whatever you want. We'll hit those first in the workshop tonight. And if you've been on the trial and you're ready to become a partner, you should have gotten an email this week that explains how to do that. If you need more information or more help, get a hold of us, 949-423-6464, 949-42-EMINI, or just send us an email, support@cfrn.net. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. and I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.